Hey, it's me, Amy Scott Grant, your favorite spiritual ass kicker, back with another really important video for you. I know that it's Christmas, it's almost Christmas, and I know that's where everybody's head is right now, but I also know there's no better time than this time of year to clear up the crap we're going to talk about today. Okay? Because I've known for a while that this is like a big issue, but I don't know, like in the last couple of months, it really hit me how much it holds us back. In fact, I don't even remember what I was reading, but I was reading some book, and somewhere in the book it said, if you are not moving forward in some area of your life, it's almost guaranteed that it's due to resentment that you're holding. And I was like, is that true? Because that's what I do. Like without thinking, I do that every time I read something. I'm like, is that true? And I thought about it and I'm just like, wow, that really does resonate as true. I mean, you could check, right? Use your truth testing method. By the way, excuse my appearance today. Just taking a little break. I don't know if you can see like boxes and there's so much crap in my office right now because I've spent the entire day wrapping. So there's probably some M&M wrappers around here too. But so I'm just taking a break from the holiday fun because this is important, right? And that's why we're talking about it. And wow, this is supposed to be a season of joy. And a lot of us, what I'm hearing a lot this year that I haven't heard in many years is it just doesn't really feel like Christmas. Now, I got to tell you, I'm looking out my window right now and it is snowing like right now. So it is beautiful. It's cold. It's like a crisp winter day. And, I got a hot beverage here. One of my favorite mugs, right? My I love you mug. But I'm hearing that from a lot of people. Like, it just doesn't feel like Christmas, And I think that's because 17 has been so, right? Just like not a great year. We're not going to talk about that because I feel like we've talked about that to death. And P.S., there's only week and a half left in the year. So no need to keep talking about it. But this resentment thing is big, okay? And my feeling is, like what my gut is telling me is that if we can clear up some resentment today, you're going to be so much more in the holiday spirit. Like you're going to feel it more without having to like turn it on, which is how a lot of people feel like this year. They're kind of like, okay, let's put on the Christmas face because so-and-so's coming over or the kids want to make cookies or we got this party to go to or whatever. I totally get it. After the year we've had, I get it, right? I totally get it. So, by the way, is this not the most adorable thing? Adam made this for me in his classroom. It's like all recycled, it's mostly recycled stuff, right? So the snowman's made out of a sock. Well, I don't think the rice inside is recycled, but it's kind of like a stress ball. It's cool. And he said that this was a sock too, that they cut up. Like, how cute is that? Oh my God, I love it. So that's my little buddies hanging out with me today. By the way, I don't know where the Gannon card is, but thank you, Gannon, for being a supporter at the spiritual ass kicker level and helping to make these videos possible. Merry Christmas, Gannon. And to all, a good night. All right, resentment. Yeah, so let's talk about that. So now what's interesting to me is, in my experience, like both myself and working with tons of clients on this issue, resentment is not one of those things, like people don't show up at a session and be like, I'm feeling a lot of resentment. No, that almost never happens, right? It's like it shows up like something else, like they're irritable for no reason or they're angry or they're it's like some other emotion or they're not even aware of it. That happens a freaking lot. And I can tell you there was a huge piece for me, like when I read that, if you're not moving forward, resentment is what's holding you back. And I went, is that true? And I started thinking, and then it was like, oh my God, like light bulbs started going off. I was like, holy crap. And the more I started to explore this one particular resentment, the more aware I became of how huge it was. Like when I said, oh, well, I know I'm carrying some resentment about this. Say I thought it was like this much, and it wound up being like this much times 100. Like for real, it was huge. Well, once I became aware of it, it was so much easier to clear it because I didn't even know it was there before. So it's a little bit insidious in that way, in that you're probably holding resentment that you don't even realize you're holding. I swear one day, I keep saying, like I've said for years, one day I'll probably write a book called Mad at God, because 90-something% of the people walking around on the planet are so pissed off at God, and there's so many reasons that they suppress or ignore or aren't aware of those feelings, right? Like it's not okay to be mad at God. It's not okay to express anger. All these things we were taught as a child, like God could smite you if he finds out that you're resenting him. But like, there's so much of it that we're carrying, most of us, right, are carrying so much resentment. But here's some areas where you may be carrying resentment and not realizing it. Your primary relationship, like your main relationship, could be a spouse. It could be, sorry, I'm going to mute so you don't hear my little Skypes and whatever's popping in. It could be a spouse. It could be a sister. It could be a child or a parent, a best friend, whoever you spend the most time with. That's what I'm kind of referring to as your primary relationship, because that person is a huge influence on your life if you spend more time with them than anyone else, right? So you probably are carrying some resentment towards them and don't even know it. You could be like, what? No, I think we have a pretty good relationship. Oh, if you start looking, there's something you resent them for. And if you get that cleared, it'll just take your relationship to the next level. It's amazing. It's freaking mind-blowing. By the way, I'll tell you this too. For those who've known me, you know, like, I mean, I've been overweight for years. Like, I think probably since college, or probably since college, or maybe even before that. I don't know. There wasn't like a pivotal moment in my life when I started putting on weight. But so, I mean, that's something like my weight goes up and down, whatever. I'll tell you, the most amazing thing happened when I started doing this resentment work and I started clearing the resentment. Weight started dropping off. Like, I'm dropping 1 pound to 1.5 pounds a week, and I'm doing nothing different. I have not started exercising. Don't plan to either. I have not changed my eating habits. Freaking come on. It's like 4 days till Christmas right now. I just told you I ate like 2 little packs of M&Ms. Not the little snack size either, like the regular size. I was like, ooh, these are good. The kids have plenty in their stocking. They won't miss 2 packs. No, really, I had extra. But like, for real, I mean, I'm enjoying the holidays, right? I'm half Italian, love food, not skimping on things. I'm eating what I want to eat, but the weight is like coming off. I am convinced, and you could check me on this with using your truth testing method if you like. I'm convinced it's because of dropping this resentment and continuing to clear around resentment, because I like can't even tell you, I've come at weight like every angle. I've helped other people lose weight, just been stuck. And I can't tell you how many coaches have tried to help me too. But I was like, wow, this seems to be the piece that's like unlocking the most stuck area in my whole entire life for the longest amount of time. Like, I've been stuck there longer than anything, right? So I know this works, and more than anything, I just feel better. Like, the more resentment you release, the better you feel, especially when you don't know you're holding it. Here's a analogy for you, ladies or men possibly. But you know when you wear shoes that are like really uncomfortable, and when you first put them on, they like hurt a little, but then you walk around like the whole damn day, and you sort of like tune out the pain, right? Like, you don't realize how much your feet hurt. What happens when you take those shoes off at the end of the day? Is there any way that they're going back on your feet once they come off? No, right? It's like maybe you take them off and your foot like grows a half a size, right? Or maybe you take them off and you're like, that feels so good. It doesn't feel good. It just feels less bad because you've taken away the hurtful thing. Okay? That's the kind of experience that I'm seeing with clearing resentment. It's like, wow, I feel so much better. Well, actually, I just took away the really tight, painful shoes called resentment, and now my feet are barefoot, and they're like, we're happy now. Thank you. Please don't do that to us again. So Okay, so primary relationship, we talked about that. Where else might you be holding resentment? Your body, right? A lot of people are holding resentment around their body, and it doesn't necessarily have to be, you don't have to be overweight to hold that resentment, right? Your health might not be where you want it to be, and you might have resentment around that. You might feel like your body is betraying you. If you have some kind of addiction, you may feel that way as well. Like you may have resentment towards yourself about your addiction. Okay, because it's like, I should know better. I should be able to have a handle on this. There's all these shoulds that go with it. You may, a lot of people, so it's like likely that you are holding resentment around money. Like not necessarily your money, like money with a capital M, like money in general, like the institution of money, you're probably holding resentment towards. So, and there's tons of others like organization, authority, the government, sex, the opposite sex, I don't know, people that pollute the environment. It just depends on like what you're passionate about. And some things might be obvious, right? Like you might really resent your neighbor who lets his dog poop on your lawn and doesn't clean up the poop. That might be like, well, obviously I resent that because he should pick up his dog's crap, right? That's the responsible dog owner thing to do. So you might know that you're resentment about that. That's all fine and good. Release that. Why not? But I'm telling you, what'll make the biggest difference for you is if you release the resentments that aren't so obvious to you. All right. So how do we do that? Okay. Let's see. Let's check in. How do we do that? Okay, so here's what I'm going to invite you to do, because here's what I get as optimal, is free writing, okay? So you take a journal, a notebook, a blank piece of paper, and just start writing. And how I would start at the top of the page is, I feel resentful because, and then see what comes out, right? Because I don't have as much money as so-and-so, because, you know, my body doesn't do what I want it to do, because I'm getting older and I don't like that, and because like whatever, because God is mean, because the universe has forsaken me, because, you know, politics are stupid. I don't know, whatever. It doesn't matter, okay? We're not going to judge or analyze what comes out. You actually don't need to do any analysis on this at all. What I'm getting will happen is, if you'll do this, and I get that for most people, you're going to need to write at least 2 pages before you hit this point, but I would just commit that you're going to keep writing until like the light bulb goes off. So what I get is, if you write and write and write, just keep pouring whatever, even if it's stupid. I resent cartoons because they're dumb and they get paid a lot of money for it. Whatever. I don't. I love cartoons. I watch Simpsons almost every day. But that's because I'm a writer, and the writing is so hilarious. Like, I can't even believe how many shows the writing is so similar to The Simpsons. Archer, do you ever watch that show? It's nothing like The Simpsons, and yet it's exactly like The Simpsons. Sometimes they even say the same thing, and I'm like, oh my God, that's so crazy. But it's like this adult, racy, very, you know, foul language cartoon versus The Simpsons. Like, it's hilarious. Anyway, I digress. Okay, so you write and write and write. Just pour out whatever comes out. Don't have any judgment. Don't stop to analyze. Just keep going. And at some point, what you write is going to like flip a switch inside your mind, and you're going to be like, oh, wow. It's just going to hit you like, it might hit you like, I did not know that was in there. Or it might hit you like, wow, I didn't realize how much I really resented that. Or it might hit you like, this is big. Okay. So that's the first step, is just keep writing until you get your aha moment. Like, oh, this resentment is what's been holding me back. And then your next step is to feel into that. Okay. So for me, this actually took, it doesn't mean it'll take you this long, but for me, this actually took a period of like 3 to 5 days, I would say, that I just was like, wow, that's interesting. Like, how big is this? I don't know. Let me think about it. And I would just like, you know, just like went about my life, and it would hit me all of a sudden. I'm like, whoa, I didn't even realize it had this whole facet to it. I didn't realize this is a whole big chunk of it. I didn't realize this was related to it. Like, all the pieces started coming together for me, right? It's kind of like, you know, that reticular activating system, that part in your brain that when your best friend buys a red Buick, all of a sudden you see red Buicks everywhere, right? It's like when you set your mind on something, that part of your brain will go out and find like everything that matches that and pull it together, and you'll start synthesizing that data, okay? Without like having to sit down and analyze. It's nothing that like, left brain. So step 1, write till you get your aha. Step 2, feel your way into it and just notice what you notice. And maybe you want to journal about that, and maybe you don't. For me, I just kept noticing until I really got like the breadth and width of it. Breadth and width and depth. And I was like, holy crap, no wonder. And then step 3 is just start clearing it. And if I can help you with that, let me know. Book a Mojo session. We'll meet, we'll talk about it, we'll make a plan, right? And then you'll know exactly what you need to clear in what order in order to get it all resolved. So that's what I did. It's exactly what I did. And I would love to know what happens for you when you do it. And I'd love to know like what you show up as a delicious byproduct. Like I had no idea that I was going to start dropping weight from doing this resentment work. I just knew like, wow, I actually was thinking about a different part of my life where I feel stuck. And I was like, oh, if this is a big resentment, I'm going to clear it so I can like release that. And this whole other part of my life that's been stuck forever, then I'm like, whatever, it just is what it is, start shifting. I'm like, holy crap, that's amazing. So to me, that's kind of like a delicious byproduct of what I set out to do. And what I set out to do is shifting as well. And it's not all clear. Right? Just to be clear, the whole resentment piece is not clear. It's a work in progress. And so, but the more that I clear, like the better I feel, which is amazing. That's like immediate gratification as I feel better. And then the delicious byproduct is that I'm dropping weight. Fantastic. And then the other, like the intention that I was holding is that this area of my life where I've been stuck would shift, and that is starting to shift. Woo! Can't tell you enough good things about that. So, all right. So try that. I know you're busy. I know it's Christmas. I get it. Like I spent all day wrapping. You got wrapping to do. You probably still got shopping to do. You got cooking to do, baking to do, and entertaining, cleaning the house. I get it, right? Or maybe you hate Christmas and you got all this stuff to ignore that's going on right now. I get it. I totally get it. Okay. But this is important work. And it's really going to set you up in a better space to transition into 2018. Which, by the way, that's been my whole freaking week, is 2018 boom, okay? We're like so close. If you haven't heard, this is the week of pre-launch, which means if you order this week, it's buy one, get one, okay? And so you can order 20 and I'll ship you 40, right? Or you can order 1, I'll ship you 2. You got 1 for you, 1 for your accountability partner. You could have gifts. I don't know, whatever you want to do with them, okay? Take them to your knitting circle. You don't have a knitting circle. I know, but whatever. You might, I don't know. They might be into it. But anyway, yeah, this is the week, right? But so we're like doing all the final pieces, and it's very exciting and very stressful and on top of Christmas. And yeah, I'm remembering now why I don't wait until December. But I talked about that in the self-imposed deadlines part. So you can watch that video if you haven't seen it yet. So anyway, resentment, all about clearing resentment. Love to hear your results. Love to hear your thoughts on this video. If I don't talk to you before Monday, have a very Merry Christmas. If you celebrate Christmas, we do. We celebrate everything in my house. But I will talk to you before New Year's. Yeah, because I'll probably have a clearing audio or video for you, rather than just a sort of, hey, use this tool kind of thing, like a teaching kind of thing. I'll probably have a clearing, because usually the last one of the month is like a big clearing. So. Yay! Okay. And if you have ideas, if you're like, ooh, can you please do a clearing, Amy, on blah, 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 post a comment here and let me know. And I'll put that in the hopper. And if it's optimal, that's what we'll do. All right. Because I love getting suggestions. Okay. So that's it. Love you guys. Mwah. Love you, Gannon. Merry Christmas, everybody. And release that resentment so we can all move forward in 2018. All right. I'll see you next week. Bye.